All right, we want to welcome everyone to a special live Q&A that we put together just for the community today. We're super excited. My name is Dan Diaz. I am your host, and this is School of Sharks. For those of you who are unfamiliar with School of Sharks, we want to familiarize you for sure. School of Sharks is a platform based on the idea that not one person has the monopoly on solutions or ideas, but rather the collective genius can help us mold our mind and become even more elevated real estate investors. Now, we have a very special live Q&A for everyone today because we've brought together a few very successful investors. And these are not just random folks. There's a reason we're coming together. And really the reason is to answer the question, what does it take to launch a successful real estate business? Now, let's do a little bit of housekeeping first. If you are using, if you're logging in, we'd love to hear your comments. However, we do need for you to give permission to StreamYard to go ahead and kind of show who you are. That way we know who is in the comment section. And once you do that, if you can maybe in the comment section put your market and your area of expertise, as well as a little bit about you. You know, are you active in real estate? Have you done your first deal? Are you super busy in this arena? And the second thing that I want you guys to do is in the comments section, go ahead and post your questions, because we're going to do everything we can to kind of answer them through a panel discussion. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and bring in our guest one at a time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring in each individual guests, and we're going to go ahead and let each of them introduce themselves, their market, what their focus is, and really kind of get to know a little bit about themselves, just a minute or two. So we're going to go ahead and begin with the ladies. We're going to start with Bettina. The stage is all yours. Tell us a little bit about your market, what your focus is, and maybe your story.
Yeah, so my name is Bettina, for those who do not know. My main market is San Antonio, Texas. So my go-to exit strategy is fix and flip. So for those who are interested in that, that's where I started, and that's pretty much majority of where a lot of my business is. So yeah, that's my favorite. For those that know my story, I had zero experience in real estate. So I'm actually a former police officer with the city of San Antonio. And when I left there, I wanted to be able to do something to be able to work from home and also build wealth for my family. So that's what I just dug into.
Absolutely. And I guys, one of the stories that I absolutely love about Bettina is that unlike a lot of folks, she was already providing a value to the community. Not that all of us are not, but a lot of us are stuck in a 9-to-5. And we're like, oh man, I just want a better life, and I want to provide, a meaning to it. She kind of already was, being in the police force, but she found, and correct me if I'm wrong, Bettina, that you could do so much more, and you found it in real estate investing. Isn't that right?
Oh yeah, my sergeants would ask me all the time, like, when are you coming back? I'm like, Sarge, never. But I make way more than I ever did just a few months salary. I make that, obviously in a whole year of being a police officer. So yeah, never going back.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, with that in mind, let's go ahead and bring our second guest into the spotlight. And this is Mr. Bhaskar Pandy, not only as a great friend of mine, but a co-founder of School of Sharks. And please tell us a little bit about yourself, your market, your focus, and maybe a short introduction to who Mr. Bhaskar Pandy is in this world. The stage is yours. Your audio?
There it is. Can you hear me now?
We sure can.
Well, thank you for having me, Dan. Thank you for the quick introduction. My name is Bhaskar Pandy. I am currently flipping land, flipping dirt. That's my focus. And I hail from India originally, born and raised, moved here in 2002. And I spent the last decade and a half just working as an engineer, employed in that 9-to-5, like you mentioned earlier. And I was not getting any joy out of it. I was making some money. I considered that to be great money until I discovered what great money really looks like. And I had picked up real estate investing, mostly rentals, picking up rentals on the side. And then when I discovered land about 6 months ago, I just built the systems and processes to go alongside my job to have something generate some extra income until I realized it has the potential of not only replacing my 9 to 5, but really propelling me significantly forward.
Absolutely. Now, something, and I certainly hope I don't embarrass you, Bhaskar, for sharing this with you, but something that I really admire about him is that in his 9 to 5, it's not like he was earning minimum wage. It's not like he was, going broke. He was very successful and earning a very nice paycheck. I won't disclose the number, but you were earning a very nice paycheck. But correct me if I'm wrong, you realized that you could have a potential for a higher purpose. Is that about right?
Absolutely right, Dan. Thank you. And I don't want to set any wrong, inferences out there. I was on the higher tiers of a senior network engineer salary. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the tiers. There was basically no more room for me to move up in my technical career in terms of salary was involved. So it was paying well. I'm very blessed. I worked with some big names out there, but frankly, there was no freedom. There was a cap. However much it was, there was still a cap on what someone else was paying me, and I wanted to change that for myself, for my family. And this real estate investing has certainly helped me achieve that.
I love that. I love that. Now, the reason you guys want to pay attention to what Bhaskar has to share is because when it comes to real estate investing, you're going to see in the next few minutes that it's not just a one-man show. There has to be several components to it, and land investing certainly has a component to it that you'll find very, very profitable. Well, I appreciate your time. We're going to come back. We want to go ahead and introduce now Mr. Yogi Mueller to the stage and share with the audience a little bit about yourself, your background, your story, your focus, and why we are honored to have you here.
Great. Thanks, Dan. Yeah, I'm Yogi Mueller. We are a nationwide wholesaling company. Been doing it for about roughly 18 months. Our focus is obviously wholesaling. I got here and actually started doing this in 2020 after being laid off from the oil field, making good money. Had about 15 years in that, but the focus got old for that because there was no freedom, working 16, 18 hours a day, sometimes 60, 70 days straight. Just got old, and we started doing this. Met somebody locally, basically burned the boats, just sold everything I had, and came to San Antonio on a whim and a prayer in an RV, just to keep expenses low and be able to grow fast. So that's where we're at, and we're here, and we're helping people nationwide with their homes that need to get out of it, are in distressed situations, and need our services.
I love that. I love that. Now, I hope I don't embarrass you, but one thing that I absolutely love about Yogi's story is that through one simple form of real estate investing, which is contract assignments, wholesale transactions, he's able to pull off six-figure months. Is that accurate?
Yes, that is correct. We have done that more than a few times.
So, guys, again, the reason we're bringing these people to the stage is because the question that we want to answer in the next few minutes is, what does it take to launch a successful real estate business? And as y'all probably figured it out, it's more than one show, it's more than one piece, it's more than one component. You really kind of want to bring everyone together. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and bring everyone to the main stage, as sometimes it's referred to in certain industries. But we're super, super excited to have everyone on board. And whatever questions y'all have, again, please, this is an audience participation. There's a reason we do it live. We want to hear your questions and we want to answer them. So in the comment section, post your questions. And towards the end, we're going to go ahead and cover them as best as we can. Also, please introduce yourself. Let us know what market you're in, what's your specialty, and what's your background. How many deals have you done? If you're experienced, how many deals have you done this year? If you haven't done your first deal, we want to know from you as well, because this is really about how you can launch your successful real estate business. So with that in mind, one of the things that I want to talk about when it comes to launching a successful real estate investing is recognizing that there are kind of two components. And I want to spend just 2 minutes talking about that: the transactional component of things and the residual component of things. Now, for those who, these terms may be new, I'd like to break down transactional into chunks of money. It could be little chunks of money, or it could be big chunks of money. But it's chunks of money. You do something, you transact it, and you make money. That is one part of real estate investing which you need to be familiar with. The second part of real estate investing is residual. Now, again, residual can mean several things, and we're going to be talking about them. But this is a type of real estate investing in which you do something once, for the most part, and it will pay you month after month after month after month. So we're going to be talking about transactional, and we're going to be talking about residual income. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and just kind of let the discussion begin. What is everyone's thoughts on the need to produce transactional as well as residual income? And it's an open platform. You guys kind of share what your thoughts are on something like this. Yogi, you're mute. I see your movie.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go first since we are a very transactional business. Transactional is a very good place to start to up that money. And then obviously our end goal as well, and personally too, is to get that residual eventually. So, as we get older and slower, we have that income coming in. So it all really fits well for us and what we're doing.
Yeah. What about yourself, Bhaskar? How would you say land investing can fall or help in the transactional side of things for building capital?
Dan, purely transactional at the moment. We are purely simply buying and reselling, and it's great for quick money. It's great for quick money that I can deploy to buy and hold and then long-term owner finance land parcels. So very strategically intentfully doing what I'm doing with the transactional side, so then I can slowly incorporate the long-term residual side in the near future.
Yeah. Now let's talk about speed. Yogi, when it comes to contract assignments, what's popularly known as wholesale real estate, how much time frame would you estimate can pass between contracting and getting paid, which of course includes a signed contract?
It really can go anywhere from 48 hours to 50-ish days. It just depends on your deal, the price, your buyer's list, how you market to get it out there in quick, fast, and a hurry and make it move.
In
Did
the
you guys
land
hear
side of
that?
things, it's pretty consistent. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dan.
No. Go ahead. Talk.
So single family side, it might be very quick to very slow sometimes, but land is very consistent because my system typically has a very fixed time frame of deals to be churning, and that's generally about the 45-day mark.
Nice. So for those of y'all who are listening, you're probably wondering, how can I get involved in real estate investing and how quickly can I get paid? I don't know a whole lot of industries where potentially, now this is not going to be the same for everyone, but potentially you could get paid within a few days. That's the beauty of certain aspects of real estate investing. Now let's bring Bettina into the equation, because fix and flips is really essentially a form of transactional real estate, but it's got some pretty cool features associated with it. Do you want to share a little bit with the audience?
Yeah, so I feel like one of the benefits and I love wholesalers. I'm actually a wholesaler myself, but again, my primary exit strategy is actually taking on that flip. Now, of course, a lot of times as wholesalers, we have to try to structure that deal for the end buyer. But now, instead of passing that off, guys, take it on. Like, I would highly recommend just taking one on that you know your numbers are right. Why not take it on yourself? Hire someone that's experienced, whether it's a general contractor or if you may have some experience like myself to actually manage your projects. You can even save a lot more money. And I mean, I think a lot of people are scared of that whole process, but to be honest, I feel like as soon as you start learning, obviously you have learning curves with everything, but to be completely honest, I feel like if you want to build the biggest, best capital within a transaction, it would be in fix and flip, besides everything else. So if you can do like, maybe one fix and flip every month, and then in the middle, you can do wholesale deals. But if you want to get that big cash payday, fix and flip is where it's at.
So without disclosing any financials,
Mm-hmm.
please share with us what would be a typical, realistic fix and flip paycheck, and more or less, how long would it take you to realize that gain from the moment you purchase the property to the moment you sell it?
Okay, so right now I would say after COVID, because I've been doing real estate investing for about 6 years now. So after COVID, what we're seeing as an average, now this is only if you find a deal that is in, let's say, close to the 75% ARV. Now I know we all know the 70% rule. It's very hard. Now I actually do receive them, whether from referrals or directly from seller. But if you're, and I saw a question here, where do you find a lot of your investments? You can do your own marketing. If you do your own marketing, I'd say we're seeing between like, on average, $40,000 to $50,000 on a fix and flip transaction, just at the tail end of it. That's with the spike of material costs, the spike of labor costs. So that's kind of like where we're seeing everything right now.
So $45,000, $50,000. And how much time frame would you estimate?
So right now, I like to shoot for about, right now I'm working, my most recent one is a heavy reno. I try not to do those unless I can see a good profit margin. But from actually getting that property under contract to selling it with a retail buyer under contract, we're in about 3-4 months, depending on how quickly you can get everything done.
Beautiful, beautiful. So again, we have options for the real estate investor. The goal is to create capital so that you can sustain yourself, so that you can build your own lead generation machine, which each of us are going to talk about in a little bit, but also so that you can create that war chest of money. Option number one, you can go the contract assignment side. It'll be relatively quick. It might not be $50,000 each time. I don't know if y'all mind sharing your smallest assignment deals, because we need to talk about those too. What are some of the smallest assignment deals y'all have done?
$1,100.
I think Dan, go ahead, Bettina.
500 for me was my smallest.
I got all y'all beat. We did a short sale with Dan where Dan helped us. I think we made $130 some.
I think 135. I was wondering if you were going to remember that one.
Yeah. Yep.
So but contract assignments, wholesale transactions. This is like the gunshot approach. There's a whole bunch of pellets going out, and it's a machine gun. That keeps going. And then once you start in that area, then like Bettina mentioned a little while ago, you can start cherry picking. You know what? I feel comfortable with this rehab. And there could be various reasons why. Maybe because it's a simple rehab. Maybe because it's in a great area that you know. Maybe you happen to know construction and you're like, you know what? I feel totally confident redoing this. It doesn't really matter, but start cherry picking them and you start building these big, massive, chunks of transactional income, big chunks of money. Now, Bhaskar, if it's okay, I'd love for you to brag a little about the potential in land investing when it comes to big chunks of money. What are some of the things that you've seen in your arena in your time?
Dan, I very quickly realized that it takes the same amount of time to flip $1,000 piece of land that it would to flip a six-figure piece of land. So we have sort of built and intentionally targeted land parcels that can generate double-digit, thousand, 5 or 6 figure assignment or profit margins. So I'm not going to really just say every deal is like this, but yes, there are some deals that we've had that have been 50K, give or take. Then there's a couple in the pipeline that are definitely six-figure deals. Not every deal is like that. I have had quite a few that are in the $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 range. But the more you understand that time can generate either $1,000 deal, or that same amount of time, given your expertise, can generate a $50,000 deal, you will naturally tend to gravitate more towards doing the $50,000. And that's what
I
works.
can't imagine any other way. Now, we've had a few questions that have to do with where do you get your deals, where do you source them, lead generation. So I do want to address that in the next few minutes. And what I'd like to do is kind of spend a little bit of time with each one of us. And if you don't mind sharing where your deals come from, where do you spend your marketing money, what do you do in regards to lead generation? And I hope I don't embarrass you, but I love to start with the ladies. So we'll go ahead and start with Bettina. And if you don't mind sharing a little bit about your lead generation tactics and secrets.
So I have two ways. I love, for those that have met me, that I have met you. If we haven't met, let's meet. I love networking events. Everybody knows I'm like the queen of networking. I'm always down to meet new people and building connections. So one of my number one thing, honestly, I feel like I get a lot of referrals. I get a lot of deals from wholesalers. So that's one of my biggest ways of getting that. And you can get good deals from wholesalers. So I love them. Y'all are amazing. The second way is I actually have a full team that does direct from sellers. So we have SMS campaigns going off every day. We have cold calling, and then we also have just social media marketing. And so I have VAs that work that whole thing.
Perfect. So you're talking about wholesalers as a great source. So guys, if y'all are wholesaling and you're not connected with Bettina, she's a cash buyer. She can definitely, close your transactions. And we're going to share everyone's contact information towards the end of the live Q&A, because we want to be connected with everyone. But you also talked about more standardized, forms of lead generation. Out of curiosity, those standardized form of lead generation, which is your favorite? I don't know if it's necessarily the most profitable. Which one do you like the most? What is your favorite?
My most favorite is, hands down, I feel like SMS marketing, because no matter what, people, we have to see any type of message that comes to our phone, no matter what, whether we reply to it or not. So for me, I feel like whether someone swipes it away, they have to see my message. So now whether they're interested in, then they'll respond. So I see like a lot more response rate, obviously, to a text message, because I feel like that's more modern. That's where we're going nowadays. So that is my number one that I always tell people to do.
I like it. Let's move on to Mr. Yogi, and let's hear from him. What can you share in regards to lead generation? Where do your leads come from? And what's probably your favorite source?
We really only run two sources of lead generation right now. Obviously PPC, because we are nationwide. And then also we do local SMS as well for bringing properties to us to work on, kicking off our own fix and flip here coming soon as well. I'd have to say, obviously the favoritist is going to be PPC, because they are inbound. They've really raised their hand, and it really cuts down the time of the follow-up and everything else like that. Because when they get a hold of you, 9 times out of 10, they're ready to go. Now, whether they actually take and accept your offer and it's what they're thinking is a whole other story. But definitely PPC is a quick, easy way from A to B.
Very good. I like your perspective. You said these people, at least I know, have raised their hands.
Yes.
They want to sell, whether or not they're on planet Earth. When it comes to their expectations, is a different story. Now, I did notice that you also mentioned SMS. So what is it about SMS that you really enjoy?
I'm just similar to what Bettina said. I mean, they come through, whether they answer them or not is another thing, but you definitely see it on your phone. We have nice follow-up sequences that we use as well to continue to help with the follow-up and kind of put in a little bit of automated factor into the situation to help with the human element, so we don't drop the ball as much.
Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of people may be scared of PPC, pay-per-click, because of costs. And that's not an unfounded fear when it comes to costs. So obviously you're already very advanced and you've got a machine going, but what would you say would be a quality conservative budget that someone who is just starting out, considering their negotiation skills might not be that great, that they may need to think of investing when it comes to PPC, if that's the route they want to take?
I would say safely, because our average cost per deal is anywhere from 2 to 3,000. So if you spent 2,000, you should be able to get 1 to 2 actual deals.
Your audio is out.
HT.
Oh, there you go. You're back.
Where did you lose me at?
No, you're good.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. I said it should, $2,000 a month should roughly generate you 10, 15-ish leads, and that should yield you 1 to 2 deals a month if you're just starting out and you want to go that route.
Ryan's got a good question. Are you outsourcing your PPC or doing it in-house?
I actually took and I outsourced it because I've done it before and I knew I didn't want to do it. But we are looking at actually taking and bringing it back in-house.
Oh, very, very nice. Very nice. Jeanette's got a question, and I think a couple of us can probably answer it. How do you determine your assignment fees?
We take and we look at, usually we'll buy anywhere from a 46 to a 52% of ARV. And then within there, we run about a 5 to 10% will be our fee from the ARV is how we figure that in.
Yeah. Steven mentions I want to see at least a $10,000 payday. That's a good benchmark.
That's one way to do it.
Very, very good benchmark. What about you, Mr. Bhaskar? Tell us what you're doing in regards to lead generation, and what kind of success are you seeing with it?
And we're strictly sticking to SMS. For 90% of our deals have been through SMS. We've had some.
Now SMS. Sorry.
Yeah. It works, right? You reach the most amount of people with the least amount of marketing budget. And if you know what you're doing with your systems, you can put it on autopilot pretty much. You can have some good follow-ups. You can have some good responses. And the cost per deal, like Yogi mentioned from PPC, is $2,000. Our cost per deal is probably a couple of $100, if that.
Very
on
nice.
What you're doing. So
very,
I also
very
did
nice.
want to add, if you're doing land, the assignment fee, the whole calculating assignment fee is I found way different. It isn't a very
tell us
simple
about that.
formula. Yeah. Also, what I've done is I've built this sliding scale offer calculator, which determines how much we are going to pay for a particular property based upon some conditions: market value, location, and our assignment fees can vary wildly from anywhere from 40% to 15%, but we generally aim for about 20,000 per deal as a target.
Very, very nice. Now, for those of you who are listening, where do you primarily focus? Because you live in San Antonio, but you're not necessarily targeting San Antonio.
I'm not. My main market's Arizona, and people told me I was crazy targeting Arizona because it's
I
like
think
the
I was
mecca
one
of
of them. I think I was one of them.
They said every wholesaler that people know that teaches wholesaling is in Arizona. If you think about all of the people that you may commonly know that are flipping land or houses are there, but frankly, it just happened to be Arizona because one of the teammates that I have, one of my team members, I had boots on the ground there, and they had some experience with builders already. So we picked Arizona, and that's one of the reasons why I love land so much. Is we've bought and sold pretty much every piece of land that I've never actually had to go to or step on. And so you never have to be there. You never have to spend time there. Yes, at times you require walking the property because there may be some building quality type issues. You may have to have a good sight on whether there are washes running or there's too many boulders, etc. But 90% of our deals, we never have to set foot on. So that's an added bonus with land.
I love that. I love that. Now, we did have a very good question from Leon. What about lead generation with little to no money? All of us are full-time real estate investors. We've been real estate investors for many years. So we've already amassed, the marketing budget to generate leads, many of us in the thousands of dollars per month or more. So real quick, and we'll just go around the room. We'll do Bettina, Yogi, Bhaskar, and then I'll share my input. What would you say would be a quality lead generation technique for someone that has little or no money?
100%, I would say social media, to be completely honest. I feel like that is where it's free. Okay. Now, obviously, you have to be strategic because Facebook will block you. You'll go to Facebook jail if you're not very careful. But I would connect with as many people as possible. It's like going to a network marketing event, except you're online and it's at any time. So I absolutely love Facebook as my number one social media platform. Then I would do LinkedIn, and then I would do Instagram. But nowadays, obviously, you can do TikTok and all that other stuff. But to connect with people who are already in the industry, your avatar will be Facebook.
Love it. So social media for yourself, if you have little to no money for lead generation. Yogi?
Ours is going to be basically driving for dollars. That's the easiest one. You can never go wrong with that. No money, just a little bit of gas, and getting some.
Now, for those who may not be familiar with what driving for dollars are, there are no dollar bills on sidewalks or on roads. So mind giving a quick definition of what driving for dollars is.
Yeah. You just go out and drive up and down the neighborhoods. You can pick a hot zip code, doing some due diligence online, and you just go there and you drive up and down and find overgrown grass, distressed looking houses, overstuffed mailboxes, simple things are going out on trash day, and then there not being a trash can out front really helps and makes it pretty easy. Just some of those simple things that where it really looks vacant and no one's there and it's a little ran down.
So if someone that's listening says, you know what, I know at least 3 that clearly have to be vacant, what would be the next step?
Call me.
What is the next step they could do that does not involve calling you?
Right. Write down the address, and then you can go online and use here's a little nugget, give you a little bit of smoke here. Basically, you can look at True People Search, and it's a free resource, and you can look up as many as you want, call them numbers, try and get a hold of them, be like, hey, do you want to sell?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I used to do driving for dollars, and I absolutely love it and believe in it. It's hard to scale. I think that's probably the reason why most of us stop, driving for dollars. But if you're starting out, this is phenomenal. There's 2 things that I want to share with the group, and perhaps Yogi will agree with me. One, the quickest, easiest way for me to find the owner of that property was to put a bandit sign in the front lawn that said, "For sale," and your number. Now, words mean things. It was not house for sale. You're not selling someone else's house. It just says for sale and your contact information. The owner is going to think that you are trying to sell their house, and somebody will alert them and they will call you right away. And you got to tell them, you got to be ready to say, listen, this was a pure ploy to get hold of you. I am not trying to sell your house. Matter of fact, if you look at the bandit sign, you can take a picture. It does not say house for sale. It just says for sale. But hey, it worked. It got you on the line, and let's go ahead and have a conversation about your home. That worked really well for me when I was starting out. The second tip that worked really well is somebody in that neighborhood knows where the owner is. So 4 houses up front, 2 houses on each side. Door knock them, and just let them know. Hey, listen, I'd love to get in contact with the owner. It looks like they have overgrown grass. Home looks a little bit vacant. We'd like to see if we can do something about it, and would you have a good way for me to get a hold of them? Those 2 things have worked for me when I was driving for dollars. Did you ever try any one of those?
Yeah, I thought I was a savage. No, you're you got me beat.
It worked.
I'm sure it
worked.
did.
It worked. What about you, Bhaskar? What can you share with the group in regards to cheap or very low cost or even free lead generation?
Social media marketing is one for sure. We've joined a ton of groups and we kind of scour for people wanting to sell land. And I used to think there's some magic list out there that I don't have and everyone else who's successful does. I would try to ask people, hey, what are you stacking? Where are you pulling your data? And then until we just pulled data from different sources, data tree is one. PropStream is the cheapest. If you have $99 a month, you can just pull 10,000 records, skip trace them from somebody on Fiverr, which are generally the cheaper options, and you text them. My initial marketing spend was no more than $200-300 a month between texting platforms, skip tracing, and list. And once I started seeing momentum, just do more of that.
So I don't know if
I'm
if
still
y'all-
looking for that golden list, by the way, if anybody knows.
aren't we all? I tell people all the time, you know what? The Walmart of magical lists is closed. Is that a business? I can't find it. So for those of y'all who are listening, there seems to be a recurring theme, and I want you guys to take notes. SMS, door knocking, social media. In my opinion, what all of that comes down to is you need to talk to people and tell them, I am looking for vacant, abandoned homes in your neighborhood. If you know of one, please call me. I used to be involved pretty heavily in network marketing, and I absolutely love it from the business coaching side of things, from the grunt, hustle side of things. And one of the things that they would do, your first day of network marketing, is build your list of 100. I highly recommend your first deal will probably come from that list of 100. You call them up and say, how you doing, Mary? This is Dan. I just want to let you know that I recently started a successful real estate investing company. Full disclosure, I haven't done a single deal, but I'm excited because I'm connected with successful real estate investors. And I'd like to know if you know of 1 or 2 homes in your neighborhood that maybe could be improved. Maybe they're vacant, maybe they're abandoned, there's overgrown grass. Do your list of 100. I hope that helps you guys when it comes to cheap or very, very, very low cost lead generation. Now, we're going to continue the conversation, but what I want you guys to do, if you guys are finding value in the conversation that we're having today, please do me a favor right now and share this live feed to your personal pages. And please, by all means, tag myself, tag Yogi, tag Bettina, tag Bhaskar, tag School of Sharks. It's an absolute pleasure having you guys, here on board. And like I said, if you guys see value in this, please comment, like, and share for sure. Now, moving along, let's go back to what forms of low risk transactional income can be. And for this part of the discussion, I really would like Yogi and Bhaskar to primarily give us their feedback. I know Bettina's a great wholesaler, but her expertise is big chunks of money through fix and flip. So I'd love to hear from Yogi and Bhaskar. Share a little bit about contract assignments, wholesale transactions, and why that should probably be the first stepping stones for somebody who is wanting to launch the real estate investing business. What are some of your thoughts on that?
If you want, I'll go first, Bhaskar. My thing is, because it's the barrier of entry for doing wholesaling, whatever, in real estate in general, it's a barrier of entry due to the fact of it teaches you a skill set to be able to find off-market properties. I've had people that run big commercial brokerages want to sit down with me and learn how I do what I do. Now, is it some secret? Is it some crazy thing? No, it's just a matter of starting to learn the skill set and the parameters of actually to how to go out and do it and find these deals, where when you find these deals, it's what starts your whole career. This is basically the foundation of the whole business, is finding those deals, because if you're paying too much, you're not going to make any money. So we got to go out there and find the low hanging fruits, the lower deals, to make a spread in any form, in fix and flip, in land, in owner finance. You make money when you buy, not when you sell.
For sure. What about you, Bhaskar? What can you share?
Pretty much just second what Yogi said, right? It's the low hanging fruit is out there. It's not, there's plenty for everyone to eat. People used to say you need to be an expert at some very niche area, right? You got to do probate merged with something, I don't know, something. You got to have a divorce list with probate thrown in there with pre-foreclosures. And
I don't know what a probate and divorce list looks like.
I don't
Did
know.
they die
'Cause I-
because they got divorced? I don't see that happening.
She killed him. She killed him.
She killed him. There you go. That's how come both showed up on the list.
But frankly, it's as simple as you figuring out you have a list, you skipped it, and you put in the work to contacting those those property owners. It's really just that simple. Consistency will allow you to reach more people. The more people you reach, the the better your odds at grabbing a deals are, right? And the transactional side of it is great. I mean, you can technically, if you're doing single family homes and you have a strong buyer base, if there are no issues with title, you could close in a week and get paid.
Mhm. Yeah, for
On the
sure.
land side, you can get paid pretty quickly if you have great relationships with buyers and builders. So for me, this transactional side has been not overly easy to build, but it's been simple enough. And now I'm just focused on improving what I'm already doing.
Love it, love it. Now, once you've built, your war chest, and you want to start cherry picking some of the deals, let's talk to Bettina and let's get her role in the launching of a successful real estate business and incorporating fix and flip. What are some tips that maybe you can share with someone who is either thinking about including fix and flips into their business, or maybe has already done a few and is having some challenges?
Yeah, so I talk to a lot of people who have a lot of challenges, whether maybe the first few have failed as far as, being in the red and you don't make any profit. And I think that's where people start getting demotivated into doing fix and flip. Now, for me, I feel like the secret to really being one successful and profitable is my go-to. And so that y'all know, I try to stick to the more cookie cutter houses. So those that are HOA property in HOA communities. Um, I try not to touch anything that's like 1960s and below. Again, unless I see a very high profit margin, and then I will do that. So in around the mid 1900s, after some point, there's a lot of things that have changed from the city. So we all know there was a lot of cast iron stuff. There was a lot of, if we walk properties, for those that know, we see a lot of those glass in the breaker box, right? Those glass bulbs. And then we're seeing just a lot of things that were outdated. Now, when I look at that, I know for me, if I see stuff like that, I'm thinking, okay, all that stuff needs to get updated. We just added whether $6,000 to $10,000 more on electrical and having to remove out the drywall. Walking properties more and more as the years have gone by has allowed me the experience to really see things even as a female. I think things like, especially for women, we tend to get very, I don't know, we kind of either get, not, I wouldn't say scared, but we get intimidated by walking these properties and not knowing. I didn't grow up, in construction. So 2 years in, we actually ended up, my ex-husband and I, we ended up forming a general contracting company because the issue, and I think it still is here, unfortunately, but there's a lot of general contractors that do take advantage of people. So that's why we see a lot of people, poking our eyes out when it comes to repairs and cost of materials and cost of labor. Now I'm gone to the point where I've been able to really make sure that I'm scaling my business and being successful is because I know my numbers. Just like as well as you know your numbers when it comes to wholesaling, it's the same thing. Just like land, you have to know your numbers, you have to know the market, you have to see all these things. But the same thing comes to fix and flipping, the renovation side of it, because that's exactly what we're doing. We're not just letting it go and giving it to somebody else. We're going to take it on. So knowing your numbers is something super important. And I was that girl. When the plumber said, hey, Bettina, well, it's going to be an extra $6,000 because there's something underneath the house that, it was unexpected. I'm like, oh, yeah, let's go underneath the house. This girl, and like, I don't care. I was ready to go. I'm down, right? So I'm going to go down there. Please point at me. What is this? Why is it? How did that happen? So that next time, if I do come across it, I know exactly how much it's going to cost me, what to look for. I mean, I went into attics on our roofs. I literally almost fell through a ceiling because I was in the attic. But like, you have to get these experiences yourself. I know how to do my own drywall. I know how to do tape and floating. I know how to install tile, backsplash, flooring, laminate, because I decided to really want to know how long it takes me. So if a trade says, okay, for 1,500 square foot house, it's going to take me 7 days to do flooring, I'm gonna tell them, you're crazy. It takes maybe not even 2 days tops, right? There's no way. Like, next, right? So you have to really know your numbers and make sure of that, because I think that's where a lot of people lose it and lose their profit, is because they don't know their numbers in fix and flip.
Yeah, we got a real good question. Is your GC only in-house, or do you guys manage other projects?
We used to manage other investors' properties, but
Was that hell?
that was so much. We used to flip like 7 to 8 houses at a time, half of those being mine and the other half other investors. So for now, I'm at my own GC now, so I manage my own properties.
Love it, love it, love it. So if y'all are paying attention, again, the topic is launching your real estate investing career. First, you want to get educated. You want to go ahead and put in print what your goals are and what are the habits that you're going to be incorporating to reach those goals. Secondly, you want to get your feet wet by doing something. Now, both Yogi and Bhaskar talked about two forms or two approaches when it comes to wholesale real estate, contract assignments. Yogi's primarily in site-built single-family homes. Bhaskar is primarily in land. But guys, that starts building your war chest. Now, once you build your war chest, once you start cherry picking, then you go ahead and jump into Bettina's area of expertise, which is, hey, let's take on a big project. Let's go ahead and do a rehab, or maybe let's do 2 or 3 simple rehabs. But that's going to be big chunks of money. Someone asked a little while ago, and I'd love to get your feedback, Bettina, the rising costs of lumber as well as other materials. How have you kind of handled or mitigated that additional cost that has happened on your end?
Yeah, so I have seen an increase between 10 and 20%. Again, it's a little different for me because I do manage my own projects. I actually have a project coordinator that is a virtual assistant, which is, I know, crazy, but you can do that. But the way I've been able to mitigate that is actually all the way, so we reverse engineer that. So it's just the actual property that I'm getting. I'm making sure that if I'm trying to get away from those really higher costs, it's just finding a very cosmetic property. Yes, a lot of these cosmetic properties are going to be in the 80% more than likely. But where I try to buy my properties, to be completely honest, is at least maybe the ARV of like 250s, less than 300. So right there is my sweet spot, because if I am paying 80%, I know it's a little bit of the top, but it's a cosmetic thing. We're maybe putting in like maybe $10,000, $15,000, maybe 20, depending on your square footage. A lot of these like cookie cutter houses that are cosmetic and built in the year 2000s, well, they're going to be like in the 2000 square foot range, maybe 1700, kind of like that, right? So that's kind of where I like to keep it, because that's where you're going to mitigate and get rid of all of those additional costs when it comes to your top 5, which is what? Your plumbing, electrical, HVAC, roofing, and foundation. A lot of those are really honestly removed because it's a larger, newer house. So that's how you can get rid of all those additional costs and just focusing on the cosmetic stuff, which is just like your fixtures, your paint, maybe carpet, maybe if it needs to be cleaned up. But honestly, that's kind of how you get away with it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So we're talking about a little bit of a higher risk, a little bit of a higher reward. I don't know how you feel, Bettina, but jumping from nothing to fix and flip may not necessarily be your best option, but it certainly has to be included in your real estate business launching, right?
Yes.
Unless you're Bettina, then you can jump right in and you take it by the horns, right?
Well, Bettina is special. She jumped from like arresting the people to like fixing their houses.
But only because the reason why I mainly did it is because back in 2016, I went to a workshop and there's this lady that told me, ma'am, I'm sorry to crush your dreams, but you cannot do fix and flip. And I'm like, oh yeah, watch me. And I figured it out. And at my first deal, it was, I totally tanked it. I maybe made 500, but then I bought 2. After 2, I bought 3. After 3, I bought 4 at a time. And I just kept on scaling. I sent her an email like, you know what, ma'am, here are my success stories. Boom. But that's how I am, though, Yeah. But there is a will, there's a way. So don't get demotivated. There's information out there on how to be successful, even with no money.
Absolutely. Now, I know you wanted to share, Bhaskar, something with the audience about land. I'll let you go ahead
Well,
and
I
take
wanted
the
to
stage.
share what Bettina, I wanted to share the opposite of what Bettina was talking about. With land, there are no repairs. There's no plumber that's going to come and say, let's go under the foundation and see what might be broken and what I'm about to charge you all this money for. So with land, there are just a few handful of parameters that if you can master, the due diligence of land becomes fairly simple. And you can make a very quick decision on whether a particular piece of land is worth pursuing, and if it is, at what price point.
Yeah.
I say a handful of things. It's really the list of due diligence items, about 100 items, but there's only always these 10 items that come into play, right?
Mm.
I won't take all this time to dive deep into that, but I wanted to say with any niche, right? Whether it's wholesaling houses, whether it's fixing and flipping single family homes, or it's land, you had hit on one thing earlier, which is knowing your market and knowing your industry, knowing your lane is
Mm.
very, very important, right? Understanding the concepts of flipping single family home, understanding the concepts of land, well, and then the same thing with flips will allow you to do better, cleaner, quicker deals, right? But then all three of us have like sat here and talked and talked and talked, and you've asked questions and we've answered. Why don't you introduce yourself to the audience for those who may not know you?
Oh, well, I appreciate it. My name's Dan, and I'm trying to get my first deal. That's what it's all about.
My first time here. How y'all doing?
How y'all doing, folks? I don't know who let me in this room, but I'm having a mighty good time. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Bhaskar. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dan Diaz. I have been a full-time real estate investor since November of 2015. First deal generated me a little over $80,000 in upfront profit and a $400 monthly spread. And guys, I was absolutely hooked after that. I didn't know at the time that what I had done was called subject to property acquisition. And I did not know that what I did afterwards was called owner financing. All I knew is that I found a lady that couldn't make her payments. I agreed to make payments in her behalf, and I felt confident that I could find somebody to pay me $400 more per month. And I did. That's not how I recommend you start. I'm just sharing my story of how I started. And what I like about that story is the fact that the universe seems to favor massive, even if imperfect actions. Massive, even if imperfect actions. And the reason I want to really stress that in your mind, because a lot of you, I know y'all, you have analysis paralysis. You think, well, what if I do this? What if I do that? What if I don't know how to do that? What if I don't know the answer? What if? I got news for you. You're never going to be prepared. You're never going to be prepared. Was Bettina prepared to go under under pier and beam foundation the first time she did it? I don't know. Maybe she was, but I doubt it. But she said, you know what? I'm going to do it. Was Yogi prepared the first time he submitted his contract? He says yes. He's full of crap. He's constipated right now, I promise you. He was not prepared. Was Bhaskar prepared? I'm pushing on the spot, bro. When he quit his 9 to 5 to go all in on land investing? No, he was not prepared. But the universe rewards massive immediate action. I personally focused on residual income because I had already come from a world that paid really well. Not that anyone here didn't come from that world, but I was general manager for mobile manufactured homes. I was making almost $400,000 a year, and so pushing trailers. Talking about selling mobile homes. But I worked, people ask me if I worked 8 to 5. I'm like, no, I worked 5 to 8, 6 days a week, and it sucked. So I knew that wherever kind of career move I made, it needed to be in the residual side. I didn't care to be a landlord. So although there are vast advantages, and I now believe in them, and rentals and short-term rentals and BRRRR method, I naturally kind of went towards owner financing. And I do want to share that with the group, because once you start building your big chest of money, it's like, what do you do with it? How can you eventually retire from that transactional income, whether it's contract assignments, land purchase and sales, or whether it's fix and flips. You eventually want to move somewhere else where your money is kind of working for you. And to me, that's owner financing. That's when you're able to provide the funding for an individual to purchase their dream homes, and you get mailbox money. It is not passive. That is a lie. It is not passive. You do not retire on an island somewhere, but it is pretty systematized if you do it you know, the right way. Jose's got a question. Do you know any lenders that would lend on land and mobile homes as a rental loan? I believe 21st Mortgage will do that with a 25% down payment, provided it's a double wide and the mobile home is less than 12 years old and it's on cement foundation. So I believe 21st Mortgage will do it with a 25% down payment. I don't know if you like that, but your question was, do you know any lenders that would? I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of rental portfolios, but I'm an even less fan of mobile homes as rentals because it's a depreciating asset, and usually one of the benefits of rental portfolios is the appreciation in the asset, and that really doesn't happen. Jose, good question. What are some of the best lists for subject to? So it's not really a list, but we send mailers to all subdivisions that have been built in the last 2 years. And it's 2 years because likely they're going to be mostly VA loans if there was a loan product on them, and likely they will have not a whole lot of equity. If you go into subdivisions that are 3 or 4 years old, they have enough equity with current appreciation rates. We might start going into the 1-year-old subdivisions just because of the current appreciation rates, but that kind of works for us. Mailers are expensive, but if you want to tip on a low-cost option, bandit signs at the entrance of communities, drop them off on Fridays, pick them up on Sundays. The HOA will never get to you because they're lazy and they don't work on the weekend. Jose says I need to pick up more subject twos. I'm not a fan of subject twos. We convert them into short-term rentals because they're new homes. But we don't wrap subject twos into owner finance transactions unless they have a 20% equity position. I can kind of go into that, later on. But that's a little bit about myself. I appreciate, the intro for sure. And guys, I know that you guys are very, very busy individuals. We appreciate and we're honored that you gave us a bit of your time today. You might have noticed a recurring theme, which is launch your real estate investing career. And there's a reason for that. We do believe, the four of us, that getting yourself involved in transactional as well as residual income, learning about lead generation, learning about contract assignments, land and fix and flips, as well as owner financing, can do a lot towards solidifying yourself as a complete real estate investor. And we're not going to give out any details yet, but we are working on a very nice collaboration between the four of us to perhaps put a 2-day workshop for the community so that we can become informed as to how we can launch our real estate investing career, whether you've done 0 deals or whether you've done less than 10 deals in the last 12 months. So I don't know if anyone wants to share a little bit of information without giving away too many secrets, but why do we want to put this together? And more specifically, why the four of us? What are we contributing? Whoever wants to take a shot at it is more than welcome to.
I'll go. I just freed myself from a 9 to 5, which I felt was limiting. It was a great job, but it was limiting. And I just, if I can build something in 6 months that is producing the results that I am, anyone can. I'm not, any smarter than y'all. Y'all can do it. It's possible. So come join us. Ask questions. We'll figure it out together.
Absolutely, Bettina.
Yeah. So I'm so thankful that God has. When all this happened, guys, I was at the lowest point in my life. I lost my house. I lost my job that I thought I was going to retire in. My daughter was super sick, and trust me, my world was falling apart. And then I saw this thing called fix and flip or investing. And I had no backup plan, and I decided to go all in, and I haven't stopped since then. And I think that is one of your big keys to being successful and to continue thriving in this business when it's very competitive, but it's good. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. So I would highly encourage y'all, if y'all are in a place where y'all just want more in your life, you want to build that financial wealth for your family, not just for you, but leave a legacy. I'm serious. If you think about all the multimillionaires in this country and everywhere around the world, what do they all have in common? They all have real estate investing. They invest in real estate. It's super important. So um, I highly recommend to jump on this workshop. It's really cool. I wish this was in existence when I first started, but we want to help people, and I think this is just a great platform to be able to help everybody who's just starting to.
Love it. And if someone wants to get in contact directly with Bettina, her email address, as well as telephone numbers at the bottom. Mr. Yogi, tell us a little bit about some concluding words and some words of wisdom for the audience.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is like you can have anything that you want. I mean, I come from a pretty tainted background, and it's just changing your mindset and going in the right way. And one of the biggest things is, who is the top 5 people that are your friends? It's like they say, show me the 5 people you hang out with and I'll show you the future. So you got 4 of us right here to be around and come have some fun with and start learning what you need to do. Is it easy? No. Is it worth it? Yes. So make sure and keep an eye out for what we're about to do. And, I can speak for all of us that we're here to help you and push forward and help you establish your dreams.
Absolutely. And your contact information is found at the bottom of the screen. If you guys want to reach out to Yogi directly. Some concluding words, Mr. Bhaskar?
Come join us. Take action. It's all about taking action. Yogi said it. Bettina said it. I think the common theme here is if you want change in your life, you're going to have to make it happen.
Woo! Love that. Love that. Love that. Again, your contact information is down below. A little bit on my end, guys. Massive immediate action is rewarded by the universe. So it almost doesn't matter what you do as long as you put your heart into it, you go all in, and you kind of burn your bridges, so to speak, so that you can't, go back. Burn your ships. Did I say burn your bridges? I'm gonna burn your ships. You want to burn your ships. You don't want to burn your bridges. That's bad. You want to burn your ships. So thank you so much, guys, for joining us for another live Q&A. It's an absolute pleasure. I hope you guys have a great one. Again, if you find value, please like, comment, and share to your personal walls. And go ahead and tag us, myself, Yogi, Bettina, and Bhaskar. We're super excited. You guys have a great one.